You ever look at a made-in tag and just make a snap judgment? Yeah, we all do it. But what's actually hiding behind that little label? Well, today, we're going to take a world tour of quality. We're going to explore the hidden philosophies that shape the products we use every single day. So let's peel back that label and see what's inside.
Okay, let's just try a little experiment right now. You're out shopping, you see two products, they look pretty much the same. One says made in Japan, the other made in China. Be honest, which one do you instinctively grab? For most of us, there's a gut reaction, right? A whole set of assumptions just clicks into place without us even thinking about it.
And 9 times out of 10, that gut reaction comes down to one simple, powerful word: quality. But here's the thing. Quality isn't this one-size-fits-all concept. It's a philosophy. It's a whole mindset. And it gets defined very, very differently depending on where you are in the world. And that's really what we're going to dig into today.
So before we can even start our world tour of quality, we kind of need to understand how companies get their stuff onto the global stage to begin with. Turns out, there are pretty much 3 main ways they do it. First up, you've got licensing. You can think of this like a company handing over its blueprints and its logo. A firm in one country gives another company permission to make and sell its product, using the original designs and the original brand name.
And this model, it's really, really efficient. I mean, think about it. The foreign company gets a product that's already proven to work and a brand that people recognize. And the original company, they get to waltz into a brand new market without the massive headache and cost of building their own factories and supply chains from scratch. It's a win-win.
A perfect real-world example of this is what the Malaysian company NASA did with vehicles from Kia. They literally took a Korean Kia car, like the Kia Carnival, slapped a new badge on it, and sold it as the NASA Ria. It's Kia's engineering, Kia's design, just sold under a different name for a specific local market. That right there is licensing in a nutshell.
Okay, so the second path is partnering. This is way less about just giving permission and much more about active collaboration. This is where 2 companies decide to team up and create a joint venture. Maybe one has incredible tech, but the other has amazing access to a market. They join forces to do something that neither of them could really pull off on their own.
And when this works, the results can be absolutely explosive. Just look at the Proton X70 SUV. That partnership was a total game changer for the Malaysian carmaker. It was so wildly successful that it helped crank their sales up by over 50% in a single month. It just goes to show you what can happen when you find the right partner.
And finally, we have the biggest commitment of all: globalization. This is when a company decides to go all in. They're not just lending their name or teaming up, they're actually building their own factories, their own marketing teams, their own everything, in foreign countries. Think of the huge multinational giants. They're building a global footprint from the ground up. All right, now that we know how these companies operate across borders, let's start our world tour. First stop, the United States. Here, the whole approach to quality is very systematic. It's super competitive, and it is all about the results. And it's all wrapped up in one very prestigious award.
And listen, it doesn't get much more official than this. The Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award isn't just some plaque from an industry group. We're talking about an award that is literally given by the President of the United States. It is the absolute gold standard for excellence in the U.S., designed to spotlight what works and share those winning strategies.
So, what does the Baldrige Award really care about? Well, the numbers don't lie. A massive 45% of the entire scoring is focused on one thing: business results. We're talking financials, market share, customer happiness, the bottom line. It sends a really clear message. In the American model, quality isn't just a nice idea. It has to show up on the balance sheet. And the framework they use is incredibly deep. It's like a complete health checkup for a company. It looks at everything from the leadership's vision and their strategy, all the way down to how they listen to their customers, how they treat their workers, and how they manage their day-to-day operations. But every single piece of that puzzle is designed to point to that one big thing: measurable business results.
Now let's head to our next stop, because this is where things get really interesting. You see this key difference right here? While the American Baldrige Award is this strategic machine obsessed with results, the Japanese equivalent, the Deming Prize, is way more focused on the process. And that philosophical difference, it's huge. It changes everything.
So, welcome to Japan. Over here, quality isn't just a business strategy. It's woven into the culture.
It's this relentless, almost spiritual pursuit of perfection through something they call kaizen, or continuous improvement. It's really treated like an art form.
At the very core of this philosophy is an idea called lean production. And the concept is just brilliantly simple. You look at every single thing you do, every step in a process, and you ask one question. Does this add value for the customer? If the answer is no, then it's considered waste. And the entire goal becomes this relentless mission to hunt down and eliminate that waste from every possible corner. And they have become absolute masters at spotting this waste everywhere. The famous 7 wastes cover things you might not even think about. It's not just about making a bad part. No, it's the time a worker spends just waiting for a tool. It's the extra steps someone takes to get from A to B. It's making one too many widgets that just sits on a shelf collecting dust. Every tiny little inefficiency is a target for elimination.
So how do you actually fight all that waste? Well, one of the most powerful tools is this thing called the 5S philosophy for organizing a workplace. It's basically extreme tidiness, but with a purpose. Get rid of everything you don't need, give every single tool a specific home, keep everything spotless and standardized, but that last S, discipline, that's the real secret sauce. It's about making this hyper-organized state the new normal, creating an environment where it's actually hard to make mistakes.
Okay, so we've seen the American obsession with results and the Japanese devotion to the process. But in a world where everything is connected, how do you make sure a company in Germany and a company in Mexico are even speaking the same language of quality? Well, that brings us to our final stop, the global standard, ISO 9000. The best way to think about ISO 9000 is like a passport for quality. It's not about telling a company how to build its cars or code its software. Instead, it's all about making sure that company documents its quality processes. It creates this baseline of trust. So a business in Brazil can look at a supplier in Vietnam and say, okay, I know you have a system, I can trust it. And the whole standard is built on these core principles. And you can see how it kind of pulls the best ideas from the other philosophies we've talked about. It's got that customer focus from the US model and that continual improvement from Japan. But its main job is to stitch them all together, to create a universally understood playbook for how you manage a quality system, no matter where you are on the map. So let's just boil it all down. What have we seen on our trip? We've got the American approach, which is laser-focused on business results and strategy. We have the Japanese way, which is all about perfecting the process and involving your people. And then we have the global ISO standard, which is the great unifier. It's all about documentation and system consistency, so everyone can trust each other. And that brings us right back to where we started. That little made in label you see on, well, everything, it's so much more than just a dot on a map. It's a clue. It's a signpost that points to a specific history, a unique culture, and a really deep philosophy about what it actually means to make something well. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. In today's world, where a single smartphone might have parts from a dozen different countries, each with its own ideas about quality, which of these philosophies is going to matter most in the future? The drive for results, the mastery of process, or the absolute need for a universal standard? The future of quality? Well, it's still being written,